Put on my Crockies. It's raining. Got a nasty storm coming in. Got my keys. Make sure I didn't do this again. Ugh. It's not raining at the moment. What is up, peoples? I'm the Motorcycle Mick, and today we're taking a look at how you might be a first responder to save someone's life during a motorcycle accident. Oh, I love Crocs. So as you can see right here, I have my saddlebag labeled because this is the side that I hook my keys on my belt, have my first aid kit in. First aid, safety. Before I get too far into that, if you like my content, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, leave a thumbs up, hit that bell icon to be notified when I upload. And if you have any ideas for content you'd like to see, let me know down below too. Okay, well, what do I mean by being a first responder for a motorcycle accident? By no means am I telling you to act in the ways of a paramedic or an EMT. I mean, look at that. That is just a nasty looking storm. We haven't had too many of these in Michigan. There's like whole front coming in. I'm gonna walk on the outside. I want to get a nice backdrop for my shot. But what do I mean by being a first responder? Oh, she's talking. Well, like I said, I'm not telling you to be an EMT, EMS, or anything like that. But there are some stuff you can do that might be able to help save someone's life during a motorcycle accident. By no means am I telling you to do this without proper training, experience, or comfortability. Just saying that if you are looking to do stuff to maybe learn to be able to help during an incident, this is stuff you might want to look at. First off, getting a trauma first aid kit. Now, a trauma first aid kit is something that's going to have a bunch of stuff that's meant for trauma. Severe bleeding, damage, stuff like that. But unless you know exactly what you're doing, it can be scary. So at minimum, I recommend getting a CPR certification. That's a big one. Being able to do first aid is a good thing, but the first step should be CPR. I should take that back. The first step should be call 911. I might die. Second step should be to check a few things. Let me get situated real quick. If you haven't noticed, the weather's changed since earlier. It was way too loud. Audio was way too blown out in the GoPro video. Actually using my phone right now. Just I like this. I do. I like it. It's a lot easier. I got a big screen to see myself. Let me preface this by saying that I have been a firefighter. I went through combat lifesaver in the Army, and I have experience from the Army with this stuff. I was an Eagle Scout. I've been EMS. Like, I want to go preface this by saying that I've had experience with these things. So when I talk about them, if I seem so comfortable with it, it's because I've experienced it before. I know what I'm doing. I feel comfortable doing it. I'm going to tell you this information, but what I'm also going to do is provide you a reason to go do research and figure it out for yourself what you are looking to do and how you are going to treat someone. Before, make sure that you get certified in CPR and first aid at minimum from the American Red Cross. They offer courses. I know it's really hard right now, but I do believe they have online options with it. But get certified in something. All right, make sure you have a certification. You're comfortable in learning these things. Make sure you're comfortable performing these actions because it can help save someone's life. So, like I said, the first step in completing the chain of events that happens after an accident should always be call 911. That should be your first step. And there's 3 things you can do to help that dispatcher with EMS on the way to provide them information. ABCs. Airway. So you want to make sure that the person's airway is not obstructed. Hopefully most of the time people are wearing helmets. Sometimes they're not. If they're not wearing a helmet, it makes it a lot easier to see inside their mouth or see if they're choking on something, whether it be blood, vomit, or clear stuff that's most likely cerebral fluid, or you make sure there's nothing like lodged in there they can choke on their tongue. There's a bunch of things someone can choke on, but just make sure. If they are choking on something, above all things, put them in the recovery position, which is something you need to YouTube, Google, do whatever you need to do to find it, because that's going to help you with identifying how to properly perform that action and make sure that the person's not going to choke on their own vomit. Above everything else, if they choke on something, they stop breathing, aspirate anything, they can die. All right, second is breathing. That's chest rise and fall. You want to make sure that you have chest rise and fall when you're looking at someone. Make sure their chest is going up and down, up and down. That's going to let you know that the person is breathing. Now, the level of oxygen that they're getting, you might not know, but you want to make sure that there is a proper way for you to see that the person's chest is going up and down. Most of the time, it's going to entail removing clothing items. Don't feel shy, don't feel crazy. It's going to be something that you're going to have to do to make sure you can identify this. And the third one is circulation. Identifying that blood is flowing through the body. Now, if the person has a massive blood loss issue, always stop bleeding first. Massive blood flow is something that's going to cause a person to die a lot faster than choking or CPR, because once again, you can do CPR, it can help, but massive blood flow is going to stop. We're going to get into that kind of treatment stuff in a little bit, but you want to make sure you check your airway, breathing, and circulation. That's going to help the dispatcher with whoever is on the other side of their line in identifying what they need to be prepared for once they arrive on scene. Then you get into identifying issues that are there. You want to make sure that you go in and see if there's any massive bleeding. That means feel around, use your hands, grab areas, see if there's any blood loss. If you see anything very obvious, then treat it. All right, but you want to make sure that blood loss is something that you stop immediately and make sure that the person is okay. Then you want to go through and check for any impaled objects. Abrasions on the road, so like road rash, things like that, while they do suck, those are not most of the time life-threatening. I know infection is something, but the person's going to get treatment for an ambulance that's coming. So your whole goal is to make sure the person survives until the ambulance gets there. So abrasions are not a big issue. If they're bleeding heavily, if they've got an artery that they clipped or something like that and blood flow is coming out of there. Head wounds are going to bleed a lot, just the way they are. If the person is awake, something you can do is basically check how conscious they are, ask them their name, where they're from. Ask them questions that you would know the answers to and they should know the answers to. Simple things, while it seems like it's being stupid, it's actually helping out in identifying how aware of this person is around them and what's actually going on in their mind. If there's any severe issues that could be going on with the brain, that can also help identify with other stuff that you're not going to be worried about because you're not a paramedic or an EMT or a firefighter, whoever gets off that vehicle, and police, whoever. If you do have a kit on your bike like this, I showed you this earlier, this is my first aid kit. This is something I carry with me on my bike all the time. I might not need it for myself, I might need it for others, or others might need it for me. I make sure my bag, like I said, is clearly marked where it is. But let's get into some of the items inside of my first aid kit. One of my favorites, personally, is an Israeli bandage. Alright, my ear people call these Israeli tourniquets, something of that sort. I'm not going to hold this up because I only have 2 of them. There's plenty of videos for Israeli bandages online. They're really good and they work great. Look it up, look how to use them. It's a bandage with some gauze on there and a lot of fabric. It's elastic. Put pressure on the wound, wrap it all the way around through, and then feed it back through. Watch a video on these. They're awesome. You can find them everywhere. They have them on Amazon, everything. I got this kit off of Amazon and it really helps. I feel a level of comfort having it. Also, the next thing, something that's very important for accidents, a very simple set of trauma shears. All right, well, you might want to go all John Wayne and take a knife out and start cutting stuff off. This is a safe way to cut clothing and items off of people. Cut the straps to a helmet, anything like that. This is what makes it safe. All right, so you're not worried about clipping anyone. It's got this little safety feature. It doesn't start cutting until up here. These will cut through a lot of stuff. They're very sharp and they're very good. They're meant to cut through stuff. They're perfect and they're cheap. Next thing on there is a splint. All right. Now, if the person's awake, feels anything, you can use a splint. This is a flexible splint. It's got instructions right on it. There's plenty of instructional videos, but you just take it out, unwrap it, and it rolls around, and then you wrap it with like an ace bandage, like this, or gauze. Whatever you have accessible to you is what you use. Simple things that can really help out. And then I've got a bunch of like band-aids, things like that, gauze. What you can do is help prevent with abrasions getting more infected. is anything like that, you want to keep it moist. So if you have a little bit of moisture in something like this gauze, you can wrap it around like road rash and really help to keep the wound clean and moist, so it's not drying up, not getting all that kind of stuff. Infection is a real thing, but just protect it. Protect everything. All right. When it comes to impaling wounds, do not remove anything from anyone that is impaled. It might be blocking off, causing issues. So it could be a punctured lung, or it could be an artery that's severed, or something like that. Do not pull anything out at all, ever. Leave it to the EMTs, leave it to paramedics, leave it to doctors, because most of the time they're just going to stabilize it and get them to the hospital. Really important. Also, something to think about is shock. Shock is a real issue. It's where the body goes into a mode of self-preservation. The body's going to be trying to prevent itself from getting too cold, getting too hot, blood loss, everything like that. Your body is not going to be reacting normal. It goes into self-preservation mode. This is perfect. These little aluminum blankets that we thought were like meh, like crazy and stupid, work great. What this aluminum blanket does, or space blanket, whatever you want to hear it called, is helps retain heat into the body. So it keeps all the heat on the body on itself, so that if a person goes into shock, it really helps. And you can really help with shock by elevating their feet, if possible. Do not start elevating stuff you do not have the ability to, or they've got like compound fractures. Just be very careful, all right? You do not have all the knowledge. You might be an EMS, you might be a doctor, you might be a firefighter, you might have the knowledge of what's going on, but other people don't. So if you're watching this and you don't start acting like you know all these things because you watch TV. All right, treating a person is very meticulous, and you want to be very careful about it. And the final thing I'm going to pull out of here, in reality, because I'm not going to show you guys a bunch of band-aids, is a tourniquet. That's what it looks like. Straightforward. Over the leg, over the arm, appendages that can be stopped from bleeding. So compound fractures, if anyone has excessive bleeding and that needs stopped, you want to be sure. If it's very vibrant red blood, you need to stop it. That is something. Dark blood, venous, bright red blood, arteries. Stop it. Super easy. All right. You pull it tight, like that, as tight as you can. All right. I'm not tightening this thing super hard on my arm right now. We want to take and pull it and hook it back on itself. All right. That's already going to help start cutting out blood flow. Next step is taking the windlass, which is this little rod, and twisting it until the blood flow stops. Once the blood flow stops, stop turning it. All right. That's when it means you cut off blood flow. And then once that's done, you put the time tab over to protect that windlass from popping out, because that's going to be removed by the doctors. And write the time. Write the time that you applied this tourniquet on there. And I always just wrap mine like that, so it makes it really easy. It pops out really easy. And so time on there, make sure you're very distinct with that time, what time you wrote it on there. But all this information is not to make you a doctor. This is not to make you a paramedic, EMT. I'm not telling you to go out there and treat people. This is information you can use that might help you, and what I carry with me to help if there is an accident of some sort. All right, tourniquets are going to hurt. If they hurt, they're doing their job. All right, you're not trying to be there. I know you're a friend, you're their family. It might suck. They're gonna feel the pain, but that's it. All right. For now, that's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do your research. Do some more information. Remember ABCs: airway, breathing, circulation, and then go from there. Stop blood loss and help that person survive. Be that first responder for that person until EMS gets there. Because who knows how long it could be, because, you know, they're only humans and traffic only goes as fast as it does. We've all seen those idiots on the road. And as always, I hope you have a great day, evening, night, morning, afternoon tea, brunch, lunch, nightcap, midnight snack, crumpet, McGriddle, bacon sandwich. And remember to always ride for freedom. Keep your family alive.